Yeah. Okay. We are now broadcasting. All right. Mm-hmm.
Welcome, everyone. We're so happy to have you here. Uh, my name is Estefania Lopez, and along with Luisa Barbosa, we run the Entrepreneur Committee from ALPFA. As part of the board members, we designed this innovative series called Entrepreneurial Snacks. We get together every other Wednesday at 5:30 and bring you digestible information and relevant from entrepreneurs on our Commonwealth. Can we hit next? Can you go to like, perfect. So ALPFA is an organization established since 1972. Is the leading organization for professional Latinos in the US, and also our mission is to provide opportunities for leadership development, community engagement, and networking for Latino men and women in the greater Boston areas that will prepare their careers and livelihood. Please reach out to us with any questions. We have great features for all of our members, and we would love to have you as in other episodes as well. And today, I am very excited to present our very own VP of Marketing, Laura Camila Rivera. Laura is a marketing associate at Cutter, where she is responsible for social media management, graphic design, and content creation. She is on a mission to add value wherever she's placed, and I am truth to that. She's focused on creating meaningful and engagement content and spreading it accordingly and efficiently. She currently serves as the VP of Marketing for ALPFA in Boston, and into other two boards as well. We don't know where she gets the time. She studied at Northeastern University and got a degree in business administration with a concentration in marketing combined with graphic design with a minor in psychology. In her spare time, she's an avid reader and a book of the Monday enthusiastic, coffee fanatic, and also a yogi. With that, I will pass it along to Laura. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. That is my very random bio. Pero today we're going to be talking about personal branding, and we can actually just jump right in. Let's look at these brands, right? All of these brands, one or the other, they solicit a response in you. You are either excited or upset by what you see. You probably have a preference too. Branding is everything, and everything that you see on here is just a reflection of that, right? So why does branding matter? If you're here, you probably know this, but personal branding has a key role in the development of your career. And then it can also lead to better jobs, better contacts, industry recognition, and more. And then, of course, it involves the human brain, particularly the reptilian brain. So let's talk a little bit about that, because that's an interesting name, the reptilian brain. Why that? Well, the brain on branding, actually 90% of buying decisions are made subconsciously. So you're not even thinking when you make a decision like that. And human beings process visuals 60,000 times faster than text. So if you have a picture and a text, you're gonna process the picture so much faster. 70% of the time, also, we as individuals and as organizations struggle to get customer attention because there's just so much noise, right? So how do you break through? That's where the psychology and the brain comes in. This is the brain, right? You have 3 sections in your brain, and 2 of them I don't really care about.
We need to plug in the Facebook Live. Just a comment from Mina.
Okay, let me quick check on that. Give me one sec.
Yes. Thank you everyone for just giving us a couple of minutes. We want to make sure that everybody else have access since our event was sold out. The only way that we were gonna be able to have it available for the rest of our members is through Facebook Live. And we wanna make sure that we do that properly. Cafecito break, that's right, Gabriel. Tea in my case.
We also hope that everyone could enjoy the sun outside today a little bit, enjoy this good weather.
All right.
Hello, Kimberland. If anybody wants to tell us from where they're joining on the chat, we would love to see if we have other cities, other members from ALPFA, perhaps. San Antonio, Texas. Excellent. New York, LA, Miami, Tennessee. Thank you, Robert from Boston. Canada, Montreal, Vegas, London, yes, San Francisco, woohoo! New Jersey. Hello from New Jersey, Vancouver, New York City. Hi, Simon from Boston.
We are live, I believe, now on Facebook, so feel free to hop on over there if you need to.
We are. Perfect.
Great. Sorry about that. Let's get going. Okay. Perfect. Sorry. So, we were talking about the brain, right? And there is the neocortex and the limbic system, which are really great for when you're planning something out, but that's not where you feel branding, right? You feel branding in your reptilian brain. That's how your brain responds with its instincts and its urges. And sometimes you just see something and you're like, I want that. And there's like no other reason except for the fact that like the oldest part of your brain is made to make those decisions for you, right? To make life or death decisions, or like what cereal you want to eat. So that's why it's so important that we include psychology when it comes to brand. So today we're going to take a minute and talk about 5 steps. Our first step to making your brand shine and stand out in these times is 1, perform a brand audit. So if you hear, you probably know that there's something with your brand that you want to look at, refresh, change entirely. Let's figure out what that is, right? Start at the basics and figure out your internal branding. That is basically what you stand for, who you are, what makes you different than the competition, than the other organization selling something similar, or than the other person who wants your promotion, right? What makes you, you? And with that information, you should be able to come up with your brand values, what you really, really care about, right? And then your mission, which is like phenomenal 1 sentence about why it is that you do what you do, and then your vision, where you can go with what you're doing. These are all facets of your story, and you can tell everything. That's why we love like Instagram stories so much, right? And now Facebook stories. Everyone wants to know your story. They just don't know it yet. So take a second to evaluate your competitors' brands, see where they're putting their mission, what their values are like, so that you have an idea of what is kind of like normalized in the area. And then you're gonna have to differentiate yourself. So once you finish your brand audit, which by the way requires a lot of objectivity, it's kind of hard to look at yourself and be like, well, I guess I stand for this, right? So it's really important to take a step back and ask others how they see you. Ask people at work, ask people in your family, have people give you just like 5 adjectives, and make sure that they let you know what places you are irreplaceable. That's your niche. As an individual, as an organizational, what makes you irreplaceable? All right, and then remember, unsolicited feedback is often the most valuable feedback, so sometimes you don't want to hear it, but it's important to keep that in mind too. So step 2 now is determine your value proposition. So now you know your value, right? You know who you are internally and you know what you want to stand for. You're going to have to identify different pain points or problems where you can fill a gap. What is missing, right? What is that impossible space that no one has really gone into, or maybe they have gone into, but you can do it better? And what can you do in your office that is missing, right? You're like, what do people need in this office right now? And then identify all the benefits you offer, right? You're not going to be able to fix all of those problems, but there might be some problems that you can help. And then you can put your benefits and your values in its place and describe what makes them valuable, right? If you connect this value, this idea of something that's missing that you have, to your buyer's problem or your hirer's problem, that's how you differentiate yourself, right? You want to do it in a different way. And then with your value proposition, it's always important to test it, because it might make a lot of sense to you and it might make no sense to somebody else. And you gotta get out of your head, right? So what I would recommend is some A/B testing, is what we call it when we're in marketing. Send out some, even to your families, to your friends, give them a few different versions of your value proposition and test it out and see which one does better. Or run some ads with changing like one word and then see which one does better. And that's like step by step how you're gonna find the best value proposition for you. Step 3. Next, you're gonna evaluate your visual materials. Like, I need you to figuratively and also literally, if you have like actual assets, lay them all down and then take a look at them and figure out if they're doing what you want them to do for you. This is one of the hardest parts for entrepreneurship, right? Because you are not really sure what your assets are right now, but your name and your title on your LinkedIn, that's your asset right there. And your filters that you use in your pictures, that's an asset. That's a brand asset that you need to streamline, right? And is your LinkedIn bio copy telling the right story for you? Does it have your value proposition? Does it have your mission? If your branding is not communicating right for you, you're gonna have to start over. That sucks, right? Well, you can do it. Think about this. Both of these are logos that elicit a response in you, right? Some people prefer McDonald's, some people prefer Burger King, right? And that it's easy to look at those assets and say, oh, I can see that. But you as an individual have your own assets. Look at these filters. Every single one of these filters elicits a different response in you. This is the image that you're putting out, right? The pictures that you're putting out, the text that you're putting out. It's part of your brand. So that leads us to step 4. Now you have to establish a presence. This is my favorite part. Because branding a company is not enough, you individually are a critical marketing tool. Every single person who works at your company, you, your organization's leaders, your owners, and also you as an individual, like you are a marketing tool. And right now, millennials are the most powerful and influential consumer sector, right? They're growing into this position of having really large inheritance coming their way, and they're now just starting like to really make money in the workforce. So what do they want, right? What do you want to sell to them? And millennials are looking for authenticity, which works really well with the branding. So where are the millennials? Where do you need to be? These are 8 of the biggest social media platforms as of right now. Do you have an account on all of these? Probably not, but you should. If you are trying to establish a personal brand, you need to be everywhere, right? And that might be really hard to manage. You don't need to post something on every single account every single day, like trying to figure out how to be active on all of these accounts. There are tools for that. So use tools like Noam and Namecheck, which help you make sure that your name is available on all social communities. Because if you have like the name Laura Camila on one thing and then Laura Rivera on another thing. These are not streamlined branding. And maybe Laura Camila is taken and Laura Rivera is taken, but Laura Camila Rivera is not. So you have to figure out what name, what brand title you want to give yourself and use it across all of your social media platforms so that they can find you easily. Another tool that I would recommend is Hootsuite or Buffer. Hootsuite on an organizational level, and then Buffer on a personal level, to schedule your posts in advance. I have not scheduled something on social media. I have not written something directly into like the Facebook write box in forever. I schedule things in advance, right? So it sounds like I could send a tweet out right now and I'm here talking to you guys. It feels like I am consistently looking at my phone. And while I am, I'm not just like writing different things to be sending out all the time. That's exhausting, right? So sit down once a week and make 5 different posts that you can post throughout the day and schedule them. It's easy, right? And then I would recommend email marketing for anyone. A lot of my history is in that. So MailChimp is a really great tool that you can use for free, and you can build landing pages on it. Grammarly, because you don't want your brand to be the brand that's misspelled. Like that's not a good look. So go to Grammarly, download it, put it in your computer, and it will like check everything you're writing and make sure that it's well written. And then the last thing is, and probably the most important thing, is Medium. Medium is a platform for bloggers. If you are not blogging as a person like trying to build up a brand, start blogging right now. If you want to be seen as an expert in anything in your field, start blogging right now. And Medium is a really great way to have a larger reach than just building your own like WordPress blog and then like having it on your Facebook and sharing it. Medium automatically shares things of interest with everybody and you can browse, right? So I can come across something of yours quickly. And then lastly would be Google Alerts and Google Analytics. Google Alerts tells you when someone's using your name. So that's important just as a whole. And then step 5 is engage with others. People want to talk to you. People want to have conversations with you. So that's where you should be spending your time, not in writing different posts every day, but in responding to people and their posts. And you have to know your audience. And I'm going to skip that little section right now because we're low on time. But I want to talk about our bonus step. You signed up for 5 and you're going to get a bonus step. This bonus step is be consistent, okay? That is the most important thing to a brand. If you start throwing out a bunch of different content in one thing and then you go silent for like a month, that's disencouraging, right? So if you want to build a brand that is authentic, then you need to be consistent and play the long game, because authenticity is not something that comes from one day to another, right? All of these concepts that I've shared with you, write them down in like literally a Google Doc, okay? And get your guidelines as to get your brand guidelines. It's really just a page of, this is my vision, these are my values, this is my target audience, this is who I am as an individual, and then this is who I am as an organization. And then these are the kind of colors I use when I put something online. This is the kind of like image I use, right? This is the typography I prefer. That's phenomenally important, right? So that you can always have a consistent brand along with consistent posting. The brand is consistent throughout the whole thing. And then I believe that that's it. I kind of zoomed through that, you guys. So feel free to ask any questions that you may have right now.
That was fantastic, Laura. And a lot of people are sending in their questions. Please feel free to send them through their chat or the Q&A part of our software in Zoom. The first one, it comes from, I think it's from the Texas viewers. How do you start over when people already form an opinion of you?
That's a great question. I know a girl on Instagram who literally deletes her entire Instagram and started over maybe like 3 times now. You can do it. You can start from scratch, maybe make a different title, a different account. And it's important to not limit yourself just because of what other people think. It's your narrative, it's your story, right? And you're writing it. You can't just let them say what they say. So if you're putting out content, the narrative will change.
Excellent. Yes, that's very important. I love the message that you sent about consistency throughout all the platforms. Is truly how you identify and follow up with brands. And I have, Luisa, do we have any other questions?
Yes, Mario Rivera, it's asking if, will you teach how to use these tools if we volunteer with ALPFA?
I'm actually, already doing that. So if you want to join the marketing committee at ALPFA, we are taking anybody who just has an interest in this and an interest in growing in this. And we are giving them the tools to be able to learn and grow in this area. So if you're interested in that, you can shoot me an email or shoot ALPFA Boston a message on Facebook, and because that's also me. So you can actually get in contact with us that way.
Yeah.
Thank you. Also, Anna Campbell is asking us what was the first step. She said she joined us a little, like some minutes late.
No worries. Our first step is to do a brand audit, right? So take everything that you have and put it into what your values are, your mission, your vision. Just basically make sure that you know what makes you you.
Laura, we have a question from Bernice Velez, and it's asking, would you do this in Spanish?
I mean, we can, if there's enough interest for it. It is my first language, so yeah.
Perfect. Perhaps let us know in the comments. After this, you will receive a survey. And this is the type of information that we certainly look forward to in order to improve our committee and the content that we put for our community. Can we go back to the last slide?
Absolutely. Give me 1 second.
And Laura, we have a lot of people also asking for the presentation. So what is the best course of action here? Should they reach out to you via email? I told everyone the recording will be live on Facebook, but if they want to learn more about your project, maybe they can reach out to you.
Absolutely. This video will be on Facebook Live permanently, and then it also will be on our YouTube account. So feel free to go over there and subscribe as ALPFA Boston. And then just feel free, this QR code here, that's my LinkedIn. So just go in there and you can scan that with your phone. Feel free to shoot me a message or through ALPFA Boston, and I'll send it over to you.
Perfect. We have, I love the questions. Thank you everyone for asking them. We have one from Lucia saying, what is one thing that I can do to make my business brand stand out if it's out of the ordinary? I will repeat the question. What is one thing that I can do to make my business brand stand out if it's out of the ordinary?
If you have a business that is out of the ordinary, then all you need to do is differentiate yourself, highlight why you are phenomenal. And that should be really easy by starting a blog, right? And sharing all of the specific expertise that you have in your area.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And we have one more question coming in. We still have like 2 minutes. So Isis just asked, any words of encouragement for folks who are scared of technology or an older population? Are these apps and platforms user-friendly?
Absolutely. I think a particular app for that would be Buffer. It is very, very useful and user-friendly, and you can just put in whatever you want to share on all of your social media accounts. and it will pick the best time for you. It will pick like how to crop the image for you. Like these platforms are very easy to use. The idea is get in there and try, right? Because it might seem scary from farther away, right? Like, how am I going to manage like 10 social media profiles? Try, because Buffer is made for like that usability kind of factor.
Yeah, and there are also folks, right, that have that bandwidth to assist other ones. I know that some freelancers can also assist in the marketing management.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that was, thank you for all of your questions. We don't want to leave without inviting you to the next event. Luisa, would you be so kind to talk to us about what's next for Entrepreneurial Snacks?
Yes, just want to start saying thank you, Laura. This presentation was amazing. The content was superb. Lucia, I agree with you. Everything was superb. You can reach out to Laura if you have any questions. And for our next Entrepreneurial Snacks, which will be the last one of this amazing series, we'll be talking on like how to use movimiento to strengthen your culture. It's a free webinar again with the Vieiras and Natalie Spiro. It will be like a drum session, super fun. It's on the last Wednesday of July, July 29th, 5:30 to 6 p.m. And we'll see you all there. Thank you everyone for joining today. It was a wonderful session. And please check ALPFA Boston on our Facebook page.
Thank you, everyone, and we hope to see you in the next one.